Yes guys, welcome back to another episode of the MONOPOSTO track guide series. Today we have episode number 16 at the iconic Temple of Speed. It's the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, and we're going to be taking a look at the Italian Grand Prix. This, of course, should be, again, quite a short track guide due to the fact that this track is almost all straight and there's very few corners, and the main corners of which they do tend to be quite heavy braking zones and also chicanes, so they are a little bit technical, so we are going to spend some time talking about how to master them, followed by my best hot lap at the end. So be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this series, and now let's get straight into it. Starting with the setup for today. Now, of course, Monza needs no introduction as far as setup goes. You just need all the straight line speed in the world. Although you can see the speed slider is not quite as far left as it can possibly go. I just leave a fraction on just to help give me a tad bit more stability through the low speed chicanes, particularly turns 1 and 2, and also through the Ascari chicane. I find I like to have a little bit more downforce just going through that corner. That's what I've found in my practice runs, and now we're just going to talk about the rest of the lap. So now that's the setup that I would use. As you're approaching the final corner, the Parabolica, at this point you're already going to be in 8th gear. I wouldn't use any ERS yet, just couple of dabs on the brakes at the 50-meter board. Just take an ordinary line. You don't need to come particularly wide. Just make sure you get on the power super early, get up into ERS super early as well, and then you'll just open up DRS when you get to this white line here, and then you're just bombing it all the way down to turn 1. At turn 1, you want to make sure your car is on the left hand side of the track. As you reach the crest of the hill, turn off ERS if you're using manual ERS. And then, depending on how confident you are with trail braking, you can brake at the 150-meter board if you're using absolutely zero wings, or if you've got a fraction a bit of downforce like me, then you can brake between the 150 and the 100. That's where I feel most comfortable to brake, and just make sure that you don't have any throttle or brake inputs once you get to the chicane. It's just mega straight line braking. Try not to lock up, and then also find if you brake too late, you lock up and you carry too much speed, so you spin out. That's exactly what happened in the outtake, what I demonstrated. Notice this curb is deadly. Did you notice that tiny little dip there? We just went over a very small bump in the track, so just be wary of that and try and avoid that altogether if you can. That's why you just completely let the car roll through the first chicane, then you just get straight back up into ERS on the power nice and early. As soon as you straighten the car up, again, if you get too greedy on the throttle or try and do it mid-apex, the car's just going to spin out. Then as we head round the Curva Grande up towards the next chicane, this is turn 4 and 5. Again, you bring your car over to the right hand side of the track, and it's straight line braking at the 100-meter board, or if you're not as confident, when the green, white and red curb starts on the right hand side. So this is the trajectory you want to take. And for this corner, I would also advise you to try and ride the curbs a bit more, or even ride over the curb. So you turn in slightly early, you can ride over this curb. A recent update means you can touch more of the grass and it's not completely going to kill you. So do that the same just as I did on the inside there. And now we're approaching the first of the two Lesmos. So this first one is quite a long right-hander. You don't need particularly a lot of braking. Just make sure you're not too greedy on the power. I would save all the ERS. Wouldn't use any of the ERS around here. Just save it for the straights. And the second Lesmo is a really tight corner. Make sure you come wide. Use this runoff right over that curb up into DRS and ERS all the way down to Ascari. You'll be topping 8th gear, topping 330 Ks easy down this bit. And then the Ascari chicane, again, you just want to make sure that your car is on the right hand side, and I like to brake just before the green, white and red curb starts. But again, just be careful to not be too aggressive on the steering. You want to make sure all of your inputs are nice and smooth. Just a couple of dabs on the brakes. Make sure you kill off enough speed, and then it's straight back onto the power. So again, I would turn in slightly early, ride over this bit of runoff, and then turn in again slightly early for the next part. Use that curb if you need to. Then you're up into ERS. I don't know why my DRS is still activated, just ignore that. That seems to be a bug. And then you're just taking the path of least resistance to make sure your car's over to the left hand side of the track for the Parabolica. Again, you're braking at the 50-meter board, a couple of dabs on the brakes. You want to be off ERS by this point, but by the time you come through the corner, hug the inside a little bit on the exit. You want to be up into ERS by now, open up DRS, and then it's just a blast to the line. Take the shortest route if you can, and that's a lap of Monza. It's really not a technical circuit. It's not difficult to master, although some of those corners can catch you out if you're not extremely careful. So that's it for today's video. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I will be sure to get back to you. And now, enjoy my lap of Monza driving as Charles Leclerc.